Welcome to Build a Great Company. In the last video, I asked, what is a great company, and talked about what great is. And I'd welcome your ideas on what is a great company in the comments, so please do that. But have you ever thought about what is a company? If we're going to make it great, we're going to have to focus on company. You probably are thinking, George, come on. We all know what a company is. It's where we go to work. It provides goods and services, and that's all true. But common to every company are people. Well, yeah, I mean, how do things get done if we don't have people there? We spend a lot of time at work. And if you add in the commuting time, it works out to about a third of a week, which probably translates to something in the neighborhood of about a third of our lives. Between school, work, if you add in sleeping, it only leaves about another third for everything else. So this is important. What goes on at work is important, and it has a huge impact on our lives. Has it ever occurred to you that the word company is the same word we use when saying, we're having some company over for dinner? Oh, I sure enjoyed your company. When we say that, we don't mean Amazon, we mean you. We mean your companionship. In fact, that's where the word sources. So hold that thought for a second, and let's look at the word corporate. It comes from the word corpus, which is a Latin word meaning body. If you combine corporate and company, you'd have a body of companions, a community. And community sources from the word common. In other words, having things in common. So whether we realize it or not, we have our business endeavor in common with the people we work with. But typically, when we think of our company or the company that employs us, we just think of work. It's the place we go, get a paycheck, come home. What if we started thinking about it as a community of people with whom we share a third of our lives? The trend has been, with some tech companies in particular, to make the workplace fun with lots of benefits, cafe with great food or coffees or whatever, and I'll let you decide, is that more about building community, or is it just keeping everyone at work longer to increase productivity? Where I'm going is, what if we had more companionship, more like a community? Now, it's still a company doing work, okay? So let me give this as a comparison. I've worked in a community. It was right out of school. It was actually a ranch in a fairly remote part of Texas, where we worked with at-risk boys 24/7. So we lived there. So instead of spending a third of our lives, we spent like 100% of our lives, okay? The community was the staff. That was about 10 of us or so. And the work were the boys, and trying to get them to begin living lives that were well-adjusted, healthy, that sort of thing. Well, in community, just like a company, over time you get to know people really well, warts and all. This reminds me, I always have liked the book. The title went something like, People Are Great Until You Get to Know Them. I never read the book, don't own the book or anything, but because I think maybe I already kind of knew what that was about. But doesn't that title say it all? I mean, you get to a new job and the people are all great, and then a few months later you're like, what happened to the really great people that I signed up to work with, Well, the director of the Boys Ranch had a rock tumbler in his office. He had a trailer office, and then on the shelf over there was this rock tumbler. And he would go around and pick up rocks that he'd see, that it took a certain kind of stone that you could put in the rock tumbler. You turn it on, come back, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months later or something. It's been turning all that time. And you pull out really beautiful, polished, glassy, almost like stones. You've seen them. They're in every souvenir shop. They have the big bin of all the polished rocks. If you've got small boys, you've definitely seen them, because I think that's a magnet for boys. We'd always have two boys, we'd always go straight to the rock bin. Well, the director explained that community is just like that, and that over time we get polished and it starts to knock off the rough edges. If you want your company to be great, then you're going to have to be great. And for you to be great, you're going to have to jump in the rock tumbler with everybody else and start getting the rough edges knocked off of you. And just imagine if that happened to everybody and you ended up coming out of the rock tumbler working with a bunch of companions for a common endeavor, the company. That's community. Just think of how much joy that would be. I think you have to view your company as a bunch of companions, not workers, employees, hired hands, etc. And this, I believe, is a core concept to greatness. The people are the key. So we're going to explore that a little bit more. We're going to explore a great team. We're going to explore great leaders. And I'd ask you to stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss the next video when it comes out. Also, I'd love your comments. What do you think great look like in a company? Ideas on community, this whole idea of working with companions. So please, I look forward to hearing your comments and see you in the next video.